have a title. Pastor, reverend, deacon, elder, music minister, youth minister, rabbi, whatever that title is. It's great to have a title. It can also put us into a box and help. We can forget, or other people can forget, that there's more to us than just that title. Ministry is a 24/7, 365 job, position, ministry, calling. It's a wonderful position. It's a very great privilege to be able to do this kind of work, to be with people in those life transition times and in the moments in their lives where things are difficult, and when they celebrate things. That's awesome. And many times those are not during what we would sometimes call normal work hours, especially emergencies and those kinds of things. They come when they come, including the middle of the night, on our day off, those kinds of things. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in all of that and constantly working, constantly being there, and not being with family, not taking any time off. I know what it feels like to go for a couple of weeks without so much as a full day off. I mean, there are just times where that happens. But for some pastors, they get into that cycle and stay there. And it becomes almost like there's some pastors I've seen where it's like they don't know who they are when they're not doing something within the life of their congregation or within the life of what it means to be in their position. That's not healthy. I've said it at other times. God created the world, the universe, all that exists in 6 days, time periods, however you understand that. Whether it's 6 24-hour periods, 24 millennia, to me that's less important. And I know that's not going to sit well with some people, but the length of time that it took God to do that is far less important than knowing that God did it, and that God then said, it's time to rest. It's time to stop and take some time off. And when we don't do that, neither life nor ministry wins. When we are always on for our position, when we're always doing the work of the faith community, they don't win, we don't win, because we cease to be a full and complete person. So there is an importance to having and taking time off. Most everybody gets 2 days off a week. Most people work Monday through Friday, or at least have 2 days off sometime during the week. Some people work a 4-day week with longer hours and then have a 3-day weekend or 3 days off. Some people work, the typical traditional Monday through Friday and have Saturday and Sunday off. And with different work schedules these days, some people have, it may swing and go different days of the week, but people get time off. Members do that. And so it's important for us to do the same thing. It's a way of showing good stewardship of our bodies, of what it means to follow the third commandment, remember the Sabbath day. And the Sabbath, the word Sabbath means rest. Sabbath is a day of rest. And whether it's Saturday or Sunday or some other day of the week is far less important than that we take a day of rest. Time to switch gears, do something different, be with family, if at all possible, do something that renews our spirit and our lives. That's so critical. But there's another side to this too. There are times where, as a pastor, I've had the urge, the feeling, I want to grow. I need to go deeper into some aspect of what ministry is, or to study scripture more. And I want to grow. And then it's like, I want to be part of a course or go to a conference of some sort. And I've had those experiences of going, but I know that sometimes funding's not always there. To give you an example of one thing you can do is I took a 3-month sabbatical during the last congregation that I was at, and worked that out with the church board that I would take vacation time, which was 4 Sundays, and as paid vacation, and take those 4 weeks of paid vacation and apply that to the sabbatical, and then take 2 months without pay. And since this was a time where my husband and I were serving congregation together, he stayed at the congregation and took care of the ministry, so they weren't without a pastor at the time. So there can be creative ways of dealing with some of this. There was also some continuing education funds in my salary package, and I applied those also to the experience within that 3-month sabbatical. But it was a time for me to really grow and to do something different, to be in a totally different environment, and to go deeper on something. I've talked with a female colleague not too long ago who, when I asked her, what is the hardest part for you right now? And her initial comment was getting bored. And I understand that. Especially, well, not even just especially, but smaller congregations that's basically doing the same thing, same kind of thing, year after year. And it's kind of hard after doing it 5, 6, 8 years, 10 years in a row to keep some of the same enthusiasm going for things. And so it's nice to try to change things up a little bit, add something new in, learn something, take a course. And all of those are things that are really important for us to do. But as soon as we think about those kinds of things, the other thing that I hear from colleagues is, I'm too busy. I am too busy. There's just too much going on. I can't take the time. I can't make the time, which is more like I won't make the time to do something, even if it's for an hour a week, maybe, for a short period of time, even if it's for one class to take or going to one conference for a week to learn something new. If you live close enough to a theological school or a university where you can perhaps get a course that you could do and commute, that would be awesome. Sometimes, especially during the summer, they have shorter course, a course that's condensed that you can audit for a smaller fee, and you don't have to worry about a grade many times with that. Or you can take the full course and get the credits for that. So there's all kinds of different possible ways to put some of these things together. And so then what do you do when, you have to get with the church board, the faith communities board, to get the time, if it's something more than just a one-day little conference, but to get the time to be okayed at sometimes, but you also have to get with them about funding. In many Christian faiths and denominations, I cannot speak for any other faith group, but in many Christian faiths, there is the realization that pastors, deacons, elders, music ministers, all of the above, need to continue their education and to continue to remain fresh, current, up to date, to learn some things that they didn't have a chance to learn in seminary, because no seminarian or training can teach it all at once. There's just too much. And sometimes after we've been out in a parish, in a congregation, ministry setting for a number of years, we realize this is something I really don't know a whole lot about, and something I need, or something I want to need to learn about, to make ministry better, to make me a better faith leader. And those are the kinds of things then to bring to your ministry board of whatever kind that is. And I know I'm using the word ministry, which is typically related to Christianity, but please, if you're Jewish or Muslim, know that this relates to whatever your structure is as well. But to take it to the board of your faith community, the governing board, and let them know what it is, let them know why you want to do it, and how they will benefit from your taking this course or going to this conference, how you will benefit from it, the refreshment, rejuvenation, the whatever you're going to get out of that, and how doing that is important to you, to your family, and to how you are able to fulfill your position within that faith community. And then see what kind of funding is in your salary pay package. Is there funding for continuing education? That's really something to fight for. I know that there are many denominations within Christianity that require that of the congregation in order to have somebody there. I know that for some positions on staff, that is not as required, and it's not seen as perhaps as necessary, which I would personally disagree with. I think it's necessary for anyone who wants to have the most vibrant and meaningful and powerful, impactful ministry to be able to continue to grow in that, to find out what's new. And things are new. Things keep changing. There's more information, even in things like scripture studies. new discoveries made, new information, new perspectives. And it's important for us to be able to understand those things and to bring that newness and that vitality of that to the people in our faith community. So talk with them about including funds within your pay package, excuse me, for bringing in or being able to go to a conference or have a week of continuing education. And in my denomination, a week, at least a week, is a minimum requirement for by the local synod or district or whatever term you use to talk about the larger group of congregations. So that is what's required of congregations. Now, like I started out, as a faith leader, we need to take advantage of those things. When it's in the budget, when it's in the time allotment for us to be gone, it's important for us to take advantage of that. Now, I do realize that there are times where the amount of funds that's allotted and provided within our pay package may not completely cover the kinds of things we want to do. And then we need to get a little more creative in how we bring in the funds, how we put a package together that can be agreeable. And that might mean that if we have something we really, really, really want to do, and it's going to be more expensive than what's allotted to us in our pay package, it could mean that you make a deal with your leadership board that you not take time for a given year, and that funds accumulates for a year or two, so that when you do go to such an event, there's more money there. And that's not always agreed upon by a congregation, but it's certainly a way that you can talk with them, a suggestion to be made, which might open them to making some suggestions and seeing some other possibilities. There's also the possibility of taking out a loan in order to be able to do something that's much more expensive than what the faith community can provide, and much more than what you might be able to kick in on your own from savings. So there's got to be a way. Think about that. If this is something really good for you, and it's really something you're concerned about and want, you will find a way. You will find a way. But just remember, for ministry to be vital and to be the best that you can be within whatever ministry you're in, it's not just a matter of staying and doing everything 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Doing that is going to become exhausting at some point in time, sooner rather than later. Your health can fail. It will not help your health in any way. And it's not being a whole person. God created you to be as much a whole person as any member of your faith community. So you deserve time off, at least 1 day a week, except for possibilities associated with a bona fide emergency. Other than that, you have the responsibility to yourself and to the people you serve to to take that time to be a whole person, to continue to grow in your ministry, to grow in your understanding, to grow in your faith, to grow in being a whole, complete person. So think about that. Think about ways to be able to do that, and get creative. It's within you to be able to accomplish this. You're worth it. Don't forget that. You are worth it. And this is something that God says you're worth. That God says you're worth doing that. For your sake as a human being, for the sake of your family, for the sake of your ministry. So peace and blessings to you. Come back next week. There will be another show.